From Legal Analyst, Shocked Beyond Measure. The astonishing and completely baffling legal precedents set by Justice Samji. Introduction, the case that defies justice. Hold on tight, because the Juteah Downey case just took a turn so baffling, it could make even the most jaded legal professionals sit up and say, wait, what just happened? Justice Narisa Samji, in what can only be described as a stunning display of judicial creativity, has somehow managed to prioritize protecting corrupt police officers over pursuing the truth or ensuring a fair trial for the accused. How? By refusing to release crucial third-party disclosure to Downey's defense team. You know, basic disclosure, the thing judges are supposed to release in the interest of justice, particularly when evidence could cast doubt on the reliability of the police force involved in the case. But, I digress. Let's dive in. Protecting the privacy of alleged corrupt officers over the truth? A judge's priorities. In an absolutely jaw-dropping move, Justice Samji decided that she could not release files because Juteah Downey allegedly harbors an anti-corrupt police sentiment. Yes, folks, you read that correctly. Apparently, the judge's concern wasn't with ensuring a fair trial, but with shielding the Ottawa police officers from potential backlash regarding their alleged misconduct. This is truly a plot twist that no one saw coming. Wouldn't it be just wonderful if judges in North America, say, oh, I don't know, had even a tiny bit of anti-corrupt police sentiment themselves? After all, it's not like allegations of police misconduct, including officers having sex with witnesses and co-accused individuals, would be an issue, right? But no, according to Justice Samji, the concern is that Downey may promote this anti-corrupt police sentiment on social media. Let me just ask, is that such a terrible thing? Wouldn't it be a good thing for someone to raise their voice against corruption in law enforcement? But apparently, this could be too much of a disruption for the judicial process. Better to ignore the corruption and uphold the status quo, right? Never mind the fact that this would violate Mr. Downey's constitutional right to a fair trial. Ottawa police lawyers' stunning influence over the judge's decision. And then there's Vanessa Stewart, an Ottawa police lawyer, who seems to have wielded an alarming amount of influence in this case. Stewart convinced Justice Samji to withhold vital third-party disclosure from the defense team, claiming that Mr. Downey might have a problem with the corrupt police officers involved. I can't even begin to imagine why he might have an issue with that. Oh, wait, I can. It's as though the focus is now on protecting the police from scrutiny rather than seeking the truth. Imagine being in a courtroom where a judge prioritizes the feelings of law enforcement over the defendant's rights. But we're all supposed to just sit back and nod, right? Evidence of police misconduct, a simple detail too much to process? Let's move on to the most astounding aspect of this case, the actual evidence of police misconduct that was presented to the court. Despite the damning allegations of officers engaging in sexual activities with witnesses, the judge seemed completely uninterested in reviewing it. This is not just any evidence, mind you, but direct admissions from co-accused individuals themselves. Surely, this would be enough to prompt an investigation, or at the very least, a cursory review to ensure fairness in the proceedings? But no. Instead, the judge seemed more concerned with shielding the officers involved from any consequence. Furthermore, the fact that this entire case was being led by a suspended, charged, and resigned police officer somehow didn't rattle the judge's confidence. It's as if the law was a mere suggestion and any concerns regarding credibility of the police force were, well, just a minor inconvenience in the grand scheme of things. The trial's staggering absurdity, no one's interested in fairness. Take a moment to digest the absurdity of this. Even when clear, undeniable evidence of police misconduct was presented, Justice Samji found ways to deny Mr. Downey a fair trial. When emails were submitted, emails containing allegations of police officers engaging in sexual acts with witnesses, the judge twisted the narrative. Even when Sergeant Standing tried to corroborate the authenticity of the email from the co-accused, the judge dismissed it as no calls took place. No, Judge Samji, there were no calls, no corroboration, and certainly no justice. When third-party disclosure becomes an afterthought. And it doesn't stop there. The judge, in a remarkably contorted legal analysis, refused to even review third-party disclosure for Mr. Downey's defense team. Her reasoning? This case is about the credibility of the witnesses, not the credibility of the investigative police officers. Well, if that's not a case for opening the floodgates to investigative review, I don't know what is. It is absolutely staggering to see a judge ignore the reality that the credibility of the police force involved is equally important as the credibility of the complainants. But perhaps Justice Samji's analysis of fairness just didn't extend that far. After all, why would anyone care if the same officers who may have been engaging in misconduct during the investigation are now the very ones testifying in court? Surely, that wouldn't influence a trial, right? In conclusion, a legal drama that defies logic. To say this case is a legal circus would be an understatement. This is not about the pursuit of truth. This is not about fair trials or justice. It's a sad, shocking display of bias, poor judgment, and a complete disregard for the rule of law. Justice Samji's repeated refusal to consider key evidence, review third-party disclosure, or even acknowledge the corrupt behavior of law enforcement has turned this trial into a grotesque farce. Perhaps we should all take a moment to appreciate the irony that a case involving allegations of corruption and police misconduct is, in fact, being used to protect those very individuals who should be held accountable. Maybe we should also send a thank you note to Justice Samji for protecting the police, despite their troubling history of misconduct, rather than prioritizing the rights of the accused and the pursuit of justice. Conclusion. As we walk away from this case, the only real certainty is that Mr. Downey has been denied a fair trial, not because of any lack of evidence, but because of a disturbing alliance between law enforcement, the judiciary, and a refusal to acknowledge corruption. So, let's all raise a glass to the glaring irony, a court of law where the truth is often the last thing sought, and where the credibility of those who wield the power is apparently just a minor inconvenience.